Hey, it's Drybear. Today I'd like to talk all about gold. If you've been playing since the launch of the game, I'm sure you've watched the in-game economy just inflate to ridiculous levels. But now as the game is starting to settle into where it should be, things are getting a little bit different, and you may be wondering, how do I get gold? How should I be spending my gold, and what should I expect? And as I've been getting this question a lot on my live stream, I'd like to spend today's video going over how to make as much gold as possible, what your expectations should be for gold income right now and in the future based on other regions, and how you should be changing your spending habits for gold now that the income is much different than it was a month ago. But first, if you have any questions or comments for me, you'll find me live every day on twitch.tv/Drybear. Who knows? I might even be streaming right now. First, let's talk about changing your spending habits based on the gold changes. Even just a couple weeks ago to a month ago, much of the enhancement materials were still hyperinflated. Some of this was due to bots just printing gold and inflating the market and buying and reselling. And it was also just an abundance of gold availability for people that had things from the launch that no longer have that gold, like the welcome challenge or selling their founder skins, things like that. For example, things like the Great Honor Leapstone, even just a month ago or even a couple weeks ago, was upwards of 850 to 1,000 gold per item on Regulus and in many regions. You can see even in the last 5 days, it's come down even more. So it's down to about 10% of what it was. The XP shards were maybe 10 times the amount that it is right here. So there's definitely a large reduction in the price and value that your gold has. Now that this is settled, or still settling, but has come down a bit, you need to be very cautious and frugal with the gold that you have. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to just fervently hold on to all of it. And the prices of things will change in conjunction with how much value your gold has. But you don't want to be going to the auction house and using it to supplement everything that you do. And you want to start using your daily activities, your daily grinds, and your weekly quests and activities to actually keep your characters moving without using gold as a supplement, unless you're just going to be buying it with real money. And you should start looking at your gold income as something that is a factor of time. You get gold through various ways, and in this video we'll go through all the different ways you can make gold right now. But as this settles, you're looking at a steady gold income based on the number of characters you have and how progressed they are. As the higher the difficulty of content, the more gold you can make by completing the PvE content every single week, which is why alts are so useful. You can do your dailies, sell the materials if you want, then complete Abyss dungeons, Abyss raids, and then we finally get Legion raids with Vaulton releasing in 2 months. We'll have a much larger amount of income you can make the higher your alts get and the number of characters you have available at high eye level. Now let's talk about all the ways you can do gold farming in the game right now, and the best ways and the ways you should expect gold for the coming months in Lost Ark Western release. The first way and the primary way of making gold that is going to be your backbone is going to be Abyss dungeons and Abyss raids, and then Legion raids once those are finally out. Completing all of those every week, you will be able to get a chunk of gold for each character that can complete them. You can have up to 6 characters that can do it, and then based on the difficulty that you complete it on, you'll get more gold. Same for the Abyss raids, and same for the Legion Commander raids. You can earn gold on 6 characters. One thing to keep in mind is that you actually have a cap of eye level. So as you can see here, if I go back to the tier 1 Abyss dungeons, it will still give me the drops, but it won't give me the golds because you'll have an eye level cap. So as you push further along to the game, you can basically do your current eye level content and then usually -1 tier to that. So like one tab back, and then you'll be able to do those and get gold. And that will be your kind of main source of gold for your roster every single week. So doing that on, if you can get 6 characters to do Abyss dungeons, that's awesome. And then as you get them up to Abyss raids and so on, that's going to be your main steady flow of gold. Your second source of gold is the auction house. And there are many ways to do this. The one that people are so used to right now is selling enhancement materials that you get that are tradable, all your unbound mats. You can sell on the auction house for gold. And even though these prices have come down a lot, just know that the prices they were at were fake. It was hyperinflated, and it was never meant to be that high. So even though you can see life leap stones for tier 2 have come down to 10 gold pop, I mean, you can get, 18 to 20 of these per character per day if you're doing the end of tier 2. So you can actually get, a couple hundred gold, which is, if you compare that to Abyss dungeons and Abyss raids, you're still getting good income of gold if you're wanting to sell those mats. And there's definitely some knowledge and experience that goes into this, predicting what people are going to want. For example, we know Glavier is coming soon in the next couple weeks. Glavier is going to start in Phaeton at 960, which means there's going to be an uptick in demand for tier 2 mats. And then when people get their Glavier to tier 3, the first set of tier 3 mats, the Honor Leap Stones, there's going to be an uptick in demand for those as well. So kind of knowing what's coming, it can help you prepare for that and make gold if you'd like. So unbound mats is the first way on the auction house. The second way is going to be gear. This is going to be ability stones, accessories, and sometimes gems if you can build them up and sell them, right? So if you look at tier 3 gems and you kind of look at this, you can see that you can actually get a good amount of gold if you can combine them and sell them. What class that exists on this changes this. So it's actually useful to have a very popular class that you can take your gems on, fuse them together, and then sell them if you can get a good roll on it, right? Figure out what the most popular classes are, like Sorceress or Berserker. If you're wondering what those classes are, I put out a popularity video going over all the most popular classes in the Western release. So pick a popular class, get it leveled up, and then combine gems on it. The more popular the class is, the more money you'll be able to get for it, because there's gonna be more demand for those gems. So you can get those done, put those together, and then sell them. So if we take this and remove the class, you can see some of these get pretty crazy on the actual list here. But you can see that's just where it is. So you can see that, here's Shadow Hunter, Sorceress, Deathblade. All the most popular classes have this because people really want these. So if you can combine your gems and farm every day, you can sell these and make a good chunk of gold for that. And that's actually a really steady amount of income for you if you are farming these regularly and putting them together. And a hot tip for that as well is the gems that drop, they drop with an effect for the class that you are playing. However, when you combine them, they will change to whatever class fused them together. So if you get a bunch of these gems, and I've been doing this on all my characters, I'll take all my gems and then auto fuse them to a level that's lower than what I'm trying to sell. Then I will pool them all, because they're tradable between your characters. Pull them all on one character, pick a character that's super popular, and then fuse them all together. And then when you fuse them on that character, they will re-roll to an effect that is for that class. So you can pick a class that makes most sense for you, and then re-roll them with the effect, put them on the auction house, make a bunch of gold. So that's gems. The next is going to be ability stones and accessories. So when you get the actual tier setup for these, you can start looking for ones that make sense. If there is interest, put down in the comments whether you want me to do a video on this, but there is a whole strategy around knowing what combination of engravings are good, and then for accessories, what stats plus engravings are good for classes. Every class has a specific build, so you should know that, Surge Deathblades want specialization, and they want ways to build out like supercharged things like that. That's a whole video in and of itself of knowing how much those are worth. But if you find something, and you can just practice this by looking at the loot every time it drops, that has the right stats on it with the right engravings, you can end up making a large sum of money just because people really need good accessories. You can see if you get the right combination, you can start making a good amount of gold. This one, Grudge, all out attack, crit spec, and Ignite Sork might really want this, so you can get this. And then as we get higher and higher in the value, they get more and more expensive. Now looking at the legendaries, you can get up to 50k on my server, even higher in some cases. And as we get vault and when we get relic accessories, it's going to get even higher, and then the prices of these will change as well. So knowing what to look for is key, and you might just get lucky one day and get a big drop that has the right stats and the right engravings, and you make a big chunk of money. This one is a little bit further down the road if you have extra time, but if you do your chaos, you'll notice that you have Aura of Resonance every day, which means you can do 2 chaos dungeons for the rewards listed here down to this point. So your gear, your tickets, your craft, your enhancement materials, that sort of thing. If you do them after having 0 Aura of Resonance, you will start getting the endless chaos materials, which is Shard of Purification, Fragment of Longing in tier 1. It's basically your crystal and your shards. Then when you get these, you can go to the merchant, which is always right next to the chaos, the exchange chaos dungeon shard merchant. You come here and you can spend your shards on accessories. So what some people do is they'll run a bunch of infinite chaos. And by the way, there's a strat to do that. If you come in here and just do the first 2 portals and then leave and then rejoin, you can get a very fast amount of these. And then they just start buying these and seeing if you get lucky on the stats, right? Because these are still tradable. And then you can just keep running these over and over and over. And again, you might get lucky to be able to get a good stat roll with good engravings. And then as you saw earlier, maybe you get one that can sell for a large chunk of money. But this is a good way to get more accessories if you're looking for even more to sell on the auction house. What else is a good source of money on the auction house? Well, if you're wondering about the adventure tome, which I need to spend more time on, there's tons of really good rewards in here that you can get for all these continents and everything. And this one is a super good one because you can see there's collectibles that you need in every region. These are items that drop that you'll consume to progress your adventures tome. Luckily though, they are tradable. So you can actually go and farm these. If you go to the auction house and go to adventures tome and go to all, you can see that these make a good amount. The tier 3 ones obviously are the most valuable now, but even this is Rowendell, I think. So these are worth 40 gold a pop. These drop from monsters, and you can find in the codex and online where these drop specifically, but you'll want to then just go to that spot, wherever it is, find the, I think there's one in Tika Tika, right? There's one in Tide Shelf as well, like up here. You can just basically pull these mobs endlessly. They will start to drop the adventure tome items that people need to progress their adventure tome, and then you can go in the auction house and sell them. So if you're farming crow stones, which I believe is Phaeton, you can get these, I think, in Shady Cliff and maybe one other spot. But they're, you know, right now 77 gold a pop. Say you farm these, and after an hour of farming, you can get, you know, 30 of them. That's, you know, a good couple thousand gold you just got from running and doing these. So adventure tome items is another option for you to make money off the auction house. You can even go through these rarer ones in some spots and farm these well. So each one of these is farmable by hand. You can go to where they drop, kill the mobs, collect a bunch of them, put them on the auction house, and make a good amount of gold. This will always be the case, especially as new areas come out. What you might want to do as well, once South of Vern comes out, which is another tome area, you can just be one of the first ones there, grab all the adventure tome items, start throwing them in the auction house, and you might make a good sum of money when that new region hits our Western servers. Also keep an eye on the engraving book recipes. You'll get these from doing all your normal activities. They drop in Chaos, Guardian, they can drop in Abyss Dungeons, Abyss Raids, Legion, and then they drop in Chaos Gates and things like that. But keep an eye on the price, and you can just, if any time you want to know the price of something that's in your inventory, you can just go right click on it and click search market, and it'll tell you how much that is worth. You can do this anywhere in the world. Just press Alt Y or just right click and hit search market. So that way you can know what is worth in your area or your region or whatever. And then you can figure out what the price is, and you can kind of hold on to these. So knowing what these are and paying attention to them is an easy way to make a bunch of gold. These will always be fluctuating depending on what's available, but engraving books is another great way to make money off the auction house. Next is life skills. So you get a maximum of 10.5k life energy every single day. So if you press B, you'll see this come up and you can progress these, and these are all the ones you'll have here. But the first way to deal with this is go to trader, and then you can see the loot. So you can actually get these in large sums and sell them. There are some people that just don't like doing life skills, and what they'll do is they'll just buy what they need. But these all have excellent uses. Not only can you make your fusion materials and your strongholds for you to progress your characters, but there's also a ton of ways you can sell these on the auction house. You can get rare materials and farm these up. It's another good way to get gold if you really don't care. But the last thing that's really important for this is going to be your crafting kits. So as you can see on your setup here, you'll be able to use tools that have affixes. So it's like your life skilling gear. You'll be able to put stats on these that give you higher gathering speed, higher chance of rare materials, paralysis immunity, which means you can't be interrupted when you're doing the harvesting. So super useful. And right now, even after a large reduction, these used to be much, much more expensive. These craft kits, which are necessary for making the higher rarity tools, have a good gold value. Now, if I go craft and look at all of them, I think the only ones that are worth it right now are going to be the top two. So your relic and your legendary. The other ones aren't really worth much. But if you get an expert one, You can get 1,500 gold on my server, 6,000 for the relic. So let's talk about how you can get these. Pop into your stronghold, open up your workshop, and you can see the things that are craftable. In here, you'll be able to go to tools, and you can see what it takes to make these tools. So you can have these, it'll take the craft kit plus some materials. Then if you go to special and go down to secret maps, you can make these archaeological site maps from excavating materials. So you can actually get these maps from farming, just doing excavation, make the map, and then based on the tier, you pretty much always want to do the highest tier you can. But you'll make this, and it's basically a separate, almost life skilling kind of secret map. You complete the map, and this is where you're going to get these drops, these expert craft kits and the relic craft kits. So you'll be able to just do excavation, farm these materials, do these, and these, if you don't see these here, they are a recipe under research. You'll be able to kind of finish the research here and then go to the crafting area and get these done. And then you can just start running. So what some people do is they will always use their life energy on excavation most of the time and make sure that their life energy is never capped. And then when they get enough materials, they'll go into the workshop, they'll craft these archaeological site maps, run them, get crafting kits, and put them on the auction house and sell. So you can see that if you really like nail that and you get maybe a couple a week, or even, you know, 5, 6 a week if you're running them often, you'll be able to get these craft kits and then make, you know, a good sum of gold. Imagine if you could get, you know, 2 master craft kits and 2 or 3 expert craft kits a week. That's, you know, nearly 20,000, over 20,000 gold you can get just from doing that. So it's a good sum of money. It's something that people desperately need because they will always need these craft kits to make new tools and look for new loot and upgrade what they're doing. The next source is usually rather minor, but it's worth mentioning. When you're doing your dailies and weeklies, you will fill out your mission, your roster mission, and this will reward you with Una's tokens. So when you get to 70 points every week, you get more for doing weeklies, and then for doing dailies, you'll get these points, you'll max it out, you'll get Una's tokens, and then you can go to the gold shop and spend the Una's tokens for a chance at gold. Now, the more tokens you spend, the higher chance, or I guess the more that there's a chance of gold bars coming out of it, right? The gold sack, which is the cheapest, gives you gold and a chance at gold bars. Small safe has a slightly higher chance, but costs more Una's tokens. And the large gold chest has a chance at the giant gold bar, which I believe is 10,000 gold. So I think the math works out here where it doesn't really matter which one you choose. You can buy a lot of hefty gold sacks. You can save for the large gold chest. I always save for the large gold chest just because I get a thrill from the idea that the giant gold bar might come out. But I think based on the amount of tokens required and the chance, I think these are all almost equivalent over time when you do a lot of them. So I don't think it matters all that much which one you pick. I just like doing the biggest one because it's more exciting for me. But that's gonna be it. So you can actually just run these, get your tokens every week. The higher the quality of your dailies are, the more tokens you get every week. So tier 3 is going to give you the most. So you can get, you know, obviously over 1,000 on these every week. Just make sure you're filling these points out, and it's a good chunk of gold. It can be anywhere from 600 gold to, you know, 15,000 gold, depending on how lucky you are that week. So it is a source of gold. Just make sure you're clearing them and doing them. Next is going to be your rift pieces. You get this currency from doing chaos gates every week. So every time the chaos gates go up, you really want to do them. Not only do they give you a chance at you know, an auction on the books that drop, the engraving books, you'll also be able to get a rift map, which you can run to get more materials that drop, these secret maps. And then you'll get rift pieces as well for simply doing the activity, which you can use to buy these chests that can drop more maps for you. The maps drop the honing materials, so you'll get these from the quality of the map. So if you look at these, if you do drop, they won't drop the leap stones, but they'll drop solar graces, they'll drop the pouches, they'll drop maybe even just the enhancement materials or the greater success like solar protection for tier 3. They'll drop, you know, the moon and stars breaths for tier 1 and tier 2, and these have gold value obviously. And then you'll accumulate these rift pieces that you can then use to get more maps. Now, it's not always the best to get the most expensive. You can see that these aren't tiered up exactly. So the blue secret maps will drop the the basic materials. Purple secret maps will drop the blue materials, and then the legendary secret maps will drop the purple materials. So if you go to enhancement material, you'll see like down here, the purple materials, the enhancement materials come from the legendary maps. The blue come from the, it's always +1 in rarity. And then the green come from the blue secret maps. So based on your current region, your auction house, how things are at, you can figure out rift pieces to what you would get out of it. You're guaranteed to get 1 shard pouch per map. So you'll be able to just get this shard pouch if you do a blue one. And then what people do is they'll run a map rotation, which means that when you have a map, you group up with 3 other people that have a map. Since the rifts actually drop material equally personal loot for everyone that goes. So you get 1 map, you run it 4 times with other people. And what we saw in the roadmap is we're getting the feature where you can actually get 4 people together that have maps, combine them all together into 1 map, run once, and get 4 times the materials, which means you get that. So it's another source of gold if you want to sell the materials. It's also a way for you to progress your characters. You can also come to the map exchange and you can put in secret maps and have a chance to increase the rarity of the map. This can be hit or miss. You can get super lucky with this. You can put a blue one in here, turn it into a purple, which gives you more loot, which gives you more options, but it is another way to get gold. And then you'll get these rift pieces, exchange them for these, get a secret map, run that, and then get the materials and sell those in the auction house. Now, it may actually be more valuable to do them at like a tier 2 or a tier 3 or a tier 1, depending on the materials are. Maybe when Glavier comes out, the tier 2 materials will start skyrocketing. So you may want to get the life versions of these things, the life shard pouches, things like that. But maybe not. You'll just have to do the math based on your server and how many rift pieces you want. Next, you can, if you really want to, you can convert your pirate coins into gold as well. And you do this by going to the several merchants that exist. The most obvious one is going to be the traveling merchant ship that exists in every major city harbor. Yorin, Rowendell, Phaeton, South Vern will have one, North Vern. So you come here and you can actually spend your pirate coins, first by converting them there if you'd like. But you can spend them to buy, the first way is just going to be the honing materials. So you can buy these. The shard pouches won't be tradable, but the crystals will. And the list of items here on the traveling merchant in the harbor is per character. So you can actually go on each character and clear out the armor and weapon crystals, and then you can trade them to other characters. You can put them on the auction house. What some people do is they'll get all their pirate coins and spend them on upgrade materials, send them all to their main and progress them that way. But you can also take these, since these are tradable, you can get these off the merchant, go on the auction house and sell them as well. So we go to enhancement material here. We try to do some quick maths. You can get these stones. You can get anywhere up where, like, I think the guardian stones for 2, you can get 900 off them. So you can just buy these, and then these are sold in units of 10. So even for the guardian stones, you get 900 of these times 90 for 5. You can see you can get a couple hundred gold already just by selling these, and that's per character. So each character can come out to the traveling merchant ship, spend some pirate coins, and make anywhere from 300 to 1500 or 2000 gold. And then you can just go through all your characters, come through, spend them, and get that done. You also want to be doing your compass events. So field bosses can drop tradable materials. The ghost ship can drop tradable materials. Chaos gates obviously drop rift maps and rift pieces, and engraving books. Field bosses can too. And then adventure islands can also be a very big source of income. There are fewer adventure islands that actually drop gold outright. So things like, Opportunity Isle, the fishing one, you can get a good amount of gold, maybe like 400 or 500 gold from it. Then you can get tradables that come out of it. So make sure you're doing your compass every single day, clear them out, and then get the stuff. And if you really need gold, you can sell those. And those are all the ways to get gold right now. I think the big takeaway, if we do a quick summary of the gold that you can get, is most of the gold you're going to get regularly is just from playing the game. So make sure you have up to 6 characters doing Abyss dungeons, Abyss raids, and when Legion raids come out, Legion raids, and that will be a good chunk of gold for you every single week. And for many players, that's going to be the primary source of gold. The next best source of gold is going to be the auction house. So we talked about selling enhancement materials for gold, which is a good source of income, and why you want to have multiple characters. Selling life skilling materials, so things that you get by going out and doing life skilling. And then you can do excavation, turn those into the archaeological maps, and then you can take those and sell them for and get craft kits and sell them in the auction house for gold as well. Adventure tome items that people need to progress their adventure tome. You can farm by killing mobs in the region that has these items. So you can then just go to an area and just, if you want to grind and just farm, you can get all those and you can sell them on the auction house for a good chunk of money. Learn how to identify the value of ability stones and accessories so that you can actually put them on the auction house and make a large chunk of money. So knowing how to identify the correct stats with the right engravings that specific classes will want. And again, if there's interest, I can do a video going over all the different combinations that you'll need, what classes want, and how to price them. But you can see a good amount of gold. This is just RNG. It may drop for you in all of the activities you're doing every week. And if you can identify the right one, it might be worth a ton of gold. And if you really want more, you can go to Chaos Dungeons, finish your 2 for the day, do Endless Chaos, which is when you have 0 Aura of Resonance. Take the currency, special currency that you get from those, and then use it to convert them to accessories. Take those accessories and sell them in the auction house when you get good drops. You can also have all your characters pooling gems and combining them together, fusing them to get the right setup for them on as well. Sell them on the auction house because people always need high-level gems for their characters. Gems are a huge increase in power for you. So, and the more popular classes, generally the more value the gem will have, and you can fuse them together in order to change what class effect is on it. So the popular classes, Berserker, Deathblade, Sorceress, Shadow Hunter, all going to be super valuable, and you can make a bunch of gold that way. And then doing your Chaos Gates and your Compass events every single day will give you, the Chaos Gates will give you the Rift pieces. You can convert those into secret maps. The secret maps will go into tradable materials, and then you can sell the stuff you get from that as well. And you can take your pirate coins and spend them on merchants in the harbors to get tradable materials that you can sell in the auction house as well. And these are limited by character. So you can go to every single character, go to the merchant, buy these items, put them on the auction house and sell them if you really are in need of gold. And that's it. I think the biggest takeaway is going to be that, the market that we saw in the first 2 months of launch was not the market you're going to expect in the future. And changing your spending habits so you're not just spending gold aggressively like it's going to keep printing is going to be big. The cool part too is as the market comes down in price, so your value of gold goes up, right? So things that normally have a high price coming down, so you're getting less gold, but the price of things are coming down, so your gold has more buying value. Is something to think about as well. And the cool thing is you get most of your gold by playing and progressing. So do your weekly activities, do your daily activities, try to clear the hardest content that you can, and then just keep an eye on the auction house and you'll be just fine. It's just for a lot of people, it feels really weird because they spent all their gold buying random things and then they don't have enough to hone their material anymore, hone their gear anymore, and their income is much different than it was a few weeks ago or a month ago. But I hope that helps you and it helps answer the question, how do I get gold? If there's other guides you'd like for me to put out, other videos you need from me, let me know in the comment section or pop onto my live stream and let me know there. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.